Okay, good night. Good night. Well, I got a meeting now. Okay, bye.
Hello.
Hey. Ooh, Jill's got some nice sun. We've got some thunderstorms going on really bad and tornado watch again in like 6 days. What? Oh, last Wednesday we had it real bad, and now it's turning again. I was just getting weather alerts that there's power outages, and thank goodness I'm not on call.
Where's everybody at?
I don't know. Angie, your hair looks nice.
Thank you. I'm blonde.
Okay, Jill. Yeah, I don't, nothing yet. She said she's gonna come back. She didn't have any sound. I found this thing. I sent it to Jill yesterday about, it's called a listing of called journal prompts. Just so like an ideas if you're not sure like what to post and like kind of throw it out there, like kind of get like your like ideas kind of flowing. Because I was trying to think last night of how to like plan posts instead of just kind of doing it like off the cuff, you know what I mean?
I usually just talk about like what's going on in my life.
Yeah, but see, I don't have anything going on. We don't leave the house.
You can talk about how you don't have anything going on.
You don't leave the house. And when we do leave the house, we can't talk about it.
I can't hear you.
I don't know what's going on.
Can you call in?
Oh, wait, Jill, it says you're on mute. Wait. Now it says you unmuted yourself.
Talk.
Yeah, now it says mute. It says. That happened to you once before, right?
Hmm.
Hey, Becca, we don't see you, but I'm sure you see us, right? Maybe you're getting it. But Jill got a new haircut and she got a new do. Look at that.
Oh, there's Becca and her dimples.
But look at you guys. Look at you guys. Okay. So Jill and Becca look like twins with their black
I
tank
know.
tops on. Did you see that?
Oh, me too. Okay, you want to come up? Come visit. I have a buddy again.
Oh, how sweet. Does your stuffed animal have a name?
Not yet.
No, not yet.
Hi.
Hi, sweet pea.
Savannah. Is she going to daycare?
She is. Yeah, because we have her there usually like 8 to 3:30, so not all day, but that way I can get work done.
Yeah,
That's nice.
I know.
That is.
Because otherwise I have this all day.
I know.
I hear you. Becca, you're in Florida, right? Are you in Florida
Yes.
too? What part? Near Angie?
Yeah, because Angie and I live, I think, like 30 minutes away, 20, 30. So.
Oh, okay. Jill just texted me. She said she's working on trying to figure out her sound and she'll be right back. But
Hey, no. I'm pressing, so please don't do that.
Your first wish is reflect on. Now, this is a wish you can really reflect on.
No.
Moving on.
I see Jill coming back on. See. Hmm. Can you call in? Can you call the number? Do you know how to do that?
Did that work or not?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you.
You can hear me?
yes, I hear you. Look at Angie. They're like, oh my God, yes. Yes.
Cheers! I'm drinking bubbly.
I've actually poured mine in a glass, but I'm drinking the same thing. I got my Christmas glass. Yay, Jill, we have sound.
How are you guys?
Not too bad. It's raining, but it's okay. We're good. I have a sweater on because my husband has the air conditioning on too high.
I thought there was going to be a big storm when I woke up this morning, and I got my workout in really quickly, and then it didn't rain. It was just cloudy and windy, so that was good.
Yeah, that's just how it is sometimes. I'm excited for tonight's call. I'm excited to hear from Jill about connecting and stuff. This is like the fun stuff of like random conversations with people and chatting with people. Like this is the fun stuff. I'm excited.
So this is the first time I'm running a call like this. So yeah, all the nerves and everything, but you guys are great. So
this is, I will say, right, this is one thing about our friendships here. Once, you know, Becca, like you get to know us a little more, and Angie, I see one of your new girls are on too, about like, we will call each other out with like a nice little question. Like Jill was like, I don't know, Angie's good. And I'm like, ooh, is that a limiting belief? And she was like, yo, it is. It sure is.
Oh, Lord.
So we are there with love, because this is just how it goes, right, Becca? This is just what, it's exciting, and like we push each other and cheer each other on. Like that's a great thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I always see Angie do these things and she's so good at it. So then I'm like, I can't do that. I'm not good enough to do that. But you know, that's just me. Like I need to put myself out there and I need to try and see. You know, you get uncomfortable with things, but that's how you grow. And I think that's what this business has been a lot of for me is growth through pushing myself through these things that are more challenging. I'm more that quiet person who doesn't put myself out there as much, but I never used to do the videos for the stories and things like that. Those things scared me, and I would start to hyperventilate when I was doing like a live or something, and now those things just come so much more naturally. And I mean, you grow so much. Like, the more you do stuff, the more you're gonna grow, and the more you're just gonna see so much change. And the personal development piece is so important. When I first started out, I wasn't doing that. I was not diving into personal development because I was like, what the heck is that? Like I'm a school psychologist. That's my background. And
I didn't know that.
yeah. Yeah.
Huh.
So I was doing counseling and everything else with kids and with families and stuff, and I didn't think it was something that I needed myself. I mean, obviously there were times where I felt like I could use a counselor, but you know, diving into the personal development thing, I didn't realize how much it would change my life and change so much going forward for me. Like that's really when I started to see the shift, was when I dove into that personal development. Because when I started with Beachbody, I was not in the best place as far as how I felt about myself and how I viewed things. I think I was kind of negative and down in the dumps a lot. And then when I finally dug into the community and the personal development piece, that's when things started to shift for me. And now I really don't look at the negative side so much of things. I'm more looking at what can I learn from this opportunity, and you know, how can I grow and develop. So that's where I've gotten to over the years. And I think that if you're not diving into the personal development yet, that's something that you really should take a look at. But I know we're talking about connections tonight, so that's where we're going to head first. And let's see, I'll take a look at okay, I'm going to do a screen share here. And let's see. All right. So connections is really the number one thing in your business. Like you need to be connecting with people on that human, that one-to-one basis with people in order to truly be able to help them and to be successful. When you're talking to someone, this is where people, when they initially start, they struggle, is that they're looking at this as sales. And we're not so much into sales as we are into helping people and finding a solution to problems that they have. So making these connections is so important, because you really need to find out and get to know the people that you're talking to. And these people, all people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. And if you are showing them that you're somebody who truly cares about them, that you're not just there to sell them something, that's when things really start to shift and change. And that's when you start to take the fear out of reaching out and talking to somebody about what it is that we have to offer, because you know that you're not just there to sell them something. You're there to help them solve a problem and to change their lives for the better. So one of the things that I want to do today, and Lisa and I had talked a little bit about this, but the Josh Coates Art of Recruiting training I thought was absolutely amazing. And one of the things that really hit me and really started to shift things for me in my business is when I listened to that and I learned about the importance of telling your story so that people can truly connect with you. And I know Angie talked about her story last time on the call, and I bet you there's people here that really connected with that story of how she was feeling before she started with Beachbody. And what I want you to do, I'm going to have you listen a little bit to this this piece from Josh Coates that I recorded a clip of. But while you're doing this, I want you to take a piece of paper if you have one there. It's good if you have a piece of paper for this this Power 20 Minutes that we're doing. And I want you to jot some notes down about what your life was like and where you were before you started with Beachbody. What kind of drew you to it? And how has it benefited your life? How has it changed your life? And I'm going to have you listen now to a piece of a call that Josh Coates had, because I think it really helps as far as understanding the importance of stories. And the reason why I want you to listen to this is because I saw people on our team posting these stories, these long stories, day after day. And I'm like, what the heck are they doing? You see a picture and you see this long post. But after a while, people start seeing that and seeing it, and eventually they do look and they do start reading those things that you're putting out there and the things that that you're talking about. And it's important to know that you need to put your message out there over and over and over again before people truly hear it and understand where you're coming from. And your story doesn't have to be a huge story. You don't have to be, and he's going to talk a little bit about this, you don't have to put out there that you were in bankruptcy and now you live in this mansion on an island somewhere because of what this has done for you. You don't have to have something really, really huge, but you do need to put yourself out there as far as where you came from, where you started, and what this has done for you. Because I see other people, even in other businesses, I'll see their stories and that emotion piece, like you connect to that emotion in someone's story and what the products and things have done for them. And that truly hits you. And that's when people start to say, I really want to know more about what this is about, if this has really helped this person this much. So let me just.
Sometimes 100
Okay,
times per hour. People don't think they know how to
Can
tell
you
a
hear
story
that?
about their business unless the story ends with, and then we bought this mansion. And now we swim in the ocean on our private island with our mermaid tails. If you didn't know this, when you buy a private island, a mermaid tail just grows. Like, I don't even know where it came from. It just showed up. And now I have 7 followers. And you think that because your story or like the life of your dreams, you think that you don't have a story to tell. And that's bullshit. That is you spending too much time following all of the people that you look up to and where they have currently arrived and not realizing the kind of work they had to do to get there. I want to remind you of something I said the other day, okay? People who are currently successful at some point were unsuccessful. At some point didn't have a large following, didn't have a mansion, didn't have 6-pack abs or whatever the heck it is you think they have. At some point, they were just an ordinary human who had to find a way to recruit in order to get successful, which means they had to find a way to do all the things we've talked about this week. They had to find a way to get over their limiting beliefs. They had to find a way to tell a story, to get people's attention and to connect to people. They had to find a way to do the work even before they had the magical finish. Okay? To give you an example, I helped my first person go top 10 in a company called Beachbody. Some of you on this call are from that company. I know we have like several companies on this call and watching the recording. But this specific girl, I will tell you, when she signed on with me, I had 0 testimonials. I had 0 anything to my name other than John Maxwell team member, and I'm messaging every freaking person on the planet. I didn't know if I could help her. I had no idea, definitely didn't know she was going to go top 10 that year. That wasn't the plan when we first started working together. I had nothing to tell other than what I had to tell. I want you to write this down. I must tell the story I do have, even if it's not yet the story I want to have. I must tell the story I do have, even if it's not the story yet that I want to have. You know, I put that yet in like all caps and underline that yet word. You may not have the story you want yet, but that does not excuse you from telling a story at all. My only story going to social media was I found personal development, and it has literally changed my entire freaking life. In fact, today I made a post for you guys on Facebook and Instagram as an example so that you could go check it out after this call and see a decent example of a storytelling. Okay? So don't go look at it just yet. Wait till the call's over, okay? But basically, when I first started, guys, I'd spent my entire 20s, and I've told this story already a couple times. My God, see how I use storytelling? This is the 3rd time this week I've told this story. Spent my whole 20s playing in rock bands on the weekends. I thought music was my way out. I thought that like music was the one thing that made me feel like maybe I had a chance to make something out of myself. I grew up in a very religious world where I was told over and over and over and over and over, God has a plan for your life. You're going to do something special. You're significant. Your life means something. You need to make a difference. A lot of very, very, very positive seeds were planted in me about my future. Now, that's really awesome if you know what you're doing, but can also be a lot of pressure when you don't know what the hell you're supposed to actually do. You've heard a million times that you're supposed to do something good, but you can't figure out for the life of you what that thing is. And so my whole 20s, I spent literally being afraid of growing old, not knowing what I was supposed to do with my life. Then when I finally gave up music, thankfully, for whatever reason, I decided to download podcasts. And I don't want to go back to school, that's for sure. I hate school other than hanging out and talking to people, but I don't actually like the school part of the school, you know? So I started downloading podcasts and listening, and I fell in love with learning. I fell in love with growth. I was listening to things about health and fitness. I was listening to things about business. I was listening to things about money, leadership, anything I get my hands on. I was just obsessed with learning how to become the better version of myself. And I felt so alive. I learned this very, 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 very valuable lesson. That having some type of status of success or being able to tell your friends, hey, this is what I do for a living, wasn't as important as just knowing who you are and being excited about being you. That's what personal development did for me. It made me feel good about me for the first time in my life. I didn't need something on the outside to confirm who I was. I felt good about me. And I just believed that if I could help other people feel this way, their life would be changed forever. Now, did that story talk about buying a brand new car? Did that story talk about how I now have a mansion? Did that story mention that now I travel around the world on my private jet that has my name on the side? I love you, Grant Cardone. I'm just teasing. Please don't think I'm making fun of you. I love you. notice how my story, did anyone like this story? Did you feel like that was a good story? Did anyone feel like, damn, like, I'd like a little bit of that? I'm not sure exactly what that is, but did anyone feel like they related to that a little bit? Okay. Didn't go anywhere with success.
So do you see by that story that how important it is to look at where you are with things and connect to people based on where you're at? Because we all have to start somewhere, and we all start somewhere different, but somebody is going to connect to your story no matter where it is that you are starting from. There's somebody out there who was feeling the same way you did when you started. It does not mean that you had to be in a horrible place, but you could have been in a dark place when you started all of this. It's just, you're going to tell your story. You have to be you in order to make this easy for you, and in order to connect with other people and to connect with your people. So I don't know if you read what I had there, but just I wanted you to just jot down some notes about, again, what your life was like before, how Beachbody has benefited you, and then you're working on creating stories to post, and you're going to be able to take parts of those stories and post them at different points. You can post something today, but you're going to be able to pull from your story over and over and over again. And there's going to be shifts in your story. There's going to be changes in your story, but your story is important, and people are going to connect to the story that you have. You can either talk about these in your actual stories, or you should be putting these out in posts too. And they don't have to be super long each time. They can be shorter, but just a story about, I put one out, I think today, about where I was before, where my struggles were, and what has changed for me since that time. And for me, it was that I loved working out and going to the gym, but then I got to the point where it just wasn't working for me anymore, because I couldn't find childcare. I was taking 2 hours out of my day, and I felt like I needed that push, but since I couldn't get there, I just wasn't doing anything because I didn't have anyone to push me. And when I changed and started connecting with the community that I'm with, I felt alive again. You know, I felt what was missing by not being in that community at the gym. But you know, sometimes I went to the gym and I felt super alone too, because there were other people in our group that were so connected to each other, and I was kind of an outsider sometimes, or a lot of times, because I was shifting my times that I was going, so I wasn't with the same people. And with my personality being, I'm sorry that I went off on some of that, but people, especially starting out, to understand that your story is important, who you are is important, and being able to connect with people with who you are. Don't try to be somebody else. You're not somebody else, you're you, and you are special, and you are the one that people want, and people are going to connect with you because you're you. Now, something that some people struggle with is finding your niche or finding hashtags. So I wanted to take a little bit of time to talk about this. I know I've talked with other people about this time here to really think about who you are, the things that you like, and what you connect with. Because I know as a mom, through the years, I felt like I lost a little bit of who I was because I was so into what everybody in my family needed and what they liked that I wasn't really focused on what I liked anymore. And I kind of forgot what I liked. When I go to watch a TV show, I don't even think about what I like. I think about what is everybody else gonna want. So actually got to watch something the other night that I wanted, and it was great. Like I finally got to see something after so many years that you can connect with other people on. I see people post all the time about, and I did it, or they love mystery shows. If you're a boy mom, or I use the hashtags like tiny living, RV living with kids because I travel on the road. But you're finding things that you do or that you enjoy to connect with other people with. And when you're looking at the hashtags, does everybody here use Instagram, or are some of you Facebook? Let me see if I can see messages.
We all nodded yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I'm like, where is it? Okay. So if you're using Instagram and you're typing in hashtags, it will show you a number next to the hashtag as you're typing it in. And you don't want that number to be super huge. Like if it's saying millions next to the hashtag that you type in, you're not going to show up to other people. You want to try to find hashtags that are, I try to find a sweet spot. I'd like to keep it below 20 in my posts. And then you can put a couple in there that are low, like 100 to 1,000, or you can put some in there that are 1,000,000. But you want to keep most of your hashtags with numbers that are under 25,000 so that you can be found with the posts that you are putting out there. So if you take a moment to, you go right into Instagram and you type in under the hashtags, you go to your search and you can, so like I have, I don't know, you probably can't see it, but I have tiny living with kids. So that one for me is a good one. Do you know what I'm talking about? Let me see. Can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. It's so dark. There we go. Okay. So I'm in the search and then I go over to tags and then I'm looking for these that I connect with that have these lower numbers on here. And then I type those into my notes, or I write them down and I get them in my notes. And I have notes that are labeled hashtags. And I have my hashtags in there that are ones that have those lower numbers of posts. And then I can just copy and paste those underneath a story that or a post that I put in. But those are things that'll start getting you connected with a community of people that have interests that are similar to you. And those people you can then reach out to and thank them for liking your post or whatever. But I'm also going to show you here. Okay. Have you guys had a chance to take a look at some hashtags and see if there's some that fit you?
Like on Instagram, I used like the school counselor,
Yeah.
but I never even thought about the fact that it's probably like in the millions, so I'm probably not going to show up. So that was a good tip.
So you can start out typing in school counselor, and then you're going to scroll through because it will give you options of other things that have that in it, but ways to adjust that hashtag so that there are fewer posts showing up under that. Yeah, I think if I type in, yeah, let's see. Okay. So if I put in school psychologist, it comes up 42,000 posts. But if I put an S on the end, it comes out 3.7 thousand. So it comes up much lower just by slightly adjusting the hashtag that I'm using.
But this is not for you don't hashtag your stories. This is for when you make a post.
You can hashtag your stories, and you can kind of shrink that down to get more people's eyes on your stories. And there's different theories behind that as far as whether you want to shrink them all the way down so that they're not seen, or if you want them to be seen in your post. And I've heard it both ways of whether you should be shrinking it all the way down so that it doesn't like cover up your post at all, or whether other people want to see that on there. I personally, if I'm going to put hashtags on, I only put a couple that can be seen in the story, and then I'll shrink down if I have a bunch more that I'm going to put into the story. But with the actual posts, I always put my hashtags in the comments after so that it doesn't muddy up the post that I'm doing. I know some people will still put some of the hashtags after the post. For me, it's worked well to put them into the comments after. Angie, do you put yours in to the post sometimes, or do you always put them after?
I don't use hashtags. This is something Lisa gets on me about because I don't use them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I need to start. I just find them overwhelming. So I don't put them on my post, and I know I should. So
that's why I started putting them in the comments. And I can tell you that sometimes I'll go without them, and if I'm not seeing a lot of engagement on the post, I'll go and put a comment with a bunch of hashtags, and a lot of times that will increase the visibility, and I'll start seeing a bunch more people liking the post after I've done that.
And I like how Jill had said earlier that if you're unsure what hashtags or what to post about, you go back to creating your story and what your life was like, or what really things like that where you want to connect and who you want to be. So even though that even like what she said here, I may not have the story I want, but I do have a story. And so when you have that written down, like she asked, I think as I'm processing it, it seems like that's where I'm pulling those hashtags. That's where I'm pulling my brand, my person who I want to draw in, and who I want in my circle, in my tribe.
Yes.
Did I get that right?
Yeah. Absolutely. And then when you're putting a coach kind of a recruiting type post out there, you want to use hashtags for the type of people that you want on your team. Those people that you connect with. So I know we only have a few minutes left. So this is a message. You can take a screenshot of this or whatever, but I found this to be an amazing message to send out to new connections that I've made on Instagram. And people want to be loved on. They want to feel special. And this isn't fake, because I go to their page and I look through their things and I connect with something that is in there, and I use that to write this message to connect to them. But So, hey Jill, I came across your account on IG, or if you saw it in a hashtag or whatever, that you found it there. And I love how much you value family or religion or whatever it is that you find that they are posting about something that they seem to value. You'll be such a positive life in my feed, excited to get to know you more. And I get so many responses to this type of message because people feel really good seeing something like this. They see that you went to their page, they see that you got to know them a little bit. And I guess I have less than a minute left. So, so I just sucked up all the time here. But I hope this was helpful for you. And if you want to take a screenshot of that and use that and adjust it, that has been really helpful and powerful for connecting to people for me.
I took a screenshot and I'm going to share it in the invite.
Okay. I'm sorry I took up so much time. I didn't mean to do that.
No, this is good because sometimes like when we're trying to have these conversations with people, we don't know how to reach people. And sometimes like, we are all caught up with the people that we already know, that this is good to connect with the people that we don't.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It's been a good starting point for conversations for me, something like this. And I got a message from someone similar today. Actually, it was really just, oh, I love connecting with other people that are living in tiny homes or whatever too. And we started a conversation about coaching from there. So.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for this, Jill. This was awesome.
Thank you,
Really
Jill.
great to see you
Thank you
guys.
so much. It just brings a new light to things too, just like how Angie was saying, and just showing that even though everybody here, even on the call, has different backgrounds, and I think it just brings us together, just knowing that like, yeah, we have a story too. So thank you so much for sharing. I really am so glad you did.
You guys all have amazing stories to tell. Get out there and tell them to everybody.
Thank you. All right, everyone have a great